Update Show. My name is Omari Salisbury. Let me get everything together over here. So I want to talk about something that caught my eye this morning. Reading the Seattle Times. This is an article. You put it up right here. And it says South King County City is calling for a collective approach to combat rise in violent crime. And this is by Sarah Jean Green from the Seattle Times. And basically, Federal Way, the city that you live in out there, man, it's a lot of violent crime literally going on in South King County. Federal Way Mayor Jim Ferrell wants to see a coordinated response to rising violent crime in South King County, county cities. And it's called on mayors, police, and county officials to convene a joint meeting to come up with a plan. First of all, you live in Federal Way. But before I kind of go back and forth on this, I mean, what's the story in Federal Way?
Well, I think that there's a large number of influx of families that Federal Way may not have been prepared for when I think about the Federal Way city government. And ultimately, there's no real connection to those families. I mean, when you're talking about how do we combat certain things of crime, we've been talking about treating the whole person. It's not just about doing programming for programming's sake, but it's about being able to center the people that you're there to serve. And I think that there's some work that can be done, particularly in Federal Way, in that regard. I do think there's some great folks that are doing some amazing things. Shout out to Federal Way Black Collective. There's several other groups that are really like, okay, this is us trying to put people's voices at the center of solutions. But I think that there's a large gap that we're seeing out there. And, honestly, there's a lot more that can be done.
Right. Well, so here's the thing is, I was a bit confused with this article, and I reached out to Dow Constantine's office. A small discussion there and follow it up afterwards, is that the Federal Way mayor is saying that he wants to convene a meeting of mayors and police chiefs and everything else, which is a good idea. But nowhere in there is a mention of Zero Youth Detention and the work that this regional approach. We've been covering the regional approach here for months now, and also the Regional Peacekeepers Collective and everything else. There is a regional. I want to know, where is the gap between the mayor of Federal Way and between Public Health Seattle King County? Because Public Health Seattle King County and Zero Youth Detention and all these guys, they've been having these meetings. There's 39 municipalities, almost all the different mayors, especially in the South, are part of this coordinated effort. I mean, and they've been trying to talk to police chiefs and use their big data machine to be able to identify. It's like the mayor here in Kent. What's the Kent mayor's name? Sorry, Mayor Kent. I'm drawing a blank. But like the mayor of Kent said, it's like, they could. It's a few bad actors, if you compare it to the overall population. But I didn't see any mention in here of the work that these guys are doing at the county level. So the first thing I did, I saw this article. I'm calling Executive Constantine's office, like, hey, you know what? What's going on? What's the gap here? And I also reached out to Derek Wheeler Smith. And, with Derek Wheeler Smith, long conversation this morning. Hopefully we can get him on here. Derek Wheeler Smith is over at Public Health Seattle King County and Zero Youth Detention. And, when you read this article here, I think that you'll find that a lot of what's being said is something that we've gone through before here. And what Derek is saying is that stabilization of street violence is 10% of the actual need. There's the other things that go along with the stabilization of the individual, because a lot of times this violence is related to other things: housing insecurity, job insecurity, food insecurity, and everything else. And it's like, when people are talking about violence interrupters are a small percentage of the people involved in the ecosystem to actually be able to make an impact in what's happening on the streets. And, I want to reach out to the mayor of Federal Way this afternoon and really ask him, like, where, because this is an important thing here. We need to find where the disconnect is, because this is almost, as well as some of this is duplication of the work. These guys have been out there hitting the ground and being in these municipalities in South King County and really trying to bring a coalition together of mayors, of police chiefs, working with the county and everything else.
Yeah, and the thing of it is that they really have a community-centric approach. This is why I'm really interested to hear what Mayor Jim Ferrell has to say about his activity or his contribution to this regional approach. I think it's really important because there is 14% Black families in Federal Way, 14%. And honestly, when I look at some of the efforts that are kind of being done out there, I've been saying for a while now to a lot of my friends and family that Federal Way has a long way to go when it comes to caring for those families and what it means. I mean, recently I was on a call for the City Council of Federal Way where they were debating about a community oversight committee for the police out there, and a large number of the callers that were calling in were saying we don't need that. Our police are doing well, but what we keep seeing is that there needs to be more of a community-centric approach, and that's really what got me so excited about the regional approach. Was yes, let's make sure it's regional so that the things that are working are easily being scaled up in these communities where they need to be. I mean, this is maybe new information for the city of Federal Way, but these actual community strategies, they work. So what are we going to be doing as a city out there in South King County to scale them up?
Right. Well, we're the little engine that could. Maybe we can help bridge the gap here, though. Executive Constantine, Public Health Seattle King County, Mayor Jim Ferrell, Mayor Ralph out there. But Mayor Ralph is aware of the regional approach that has been participating in it. But man, you guys, because these things are out there and they're occurring. Do they need more resources? Yes. Do people need to crank it up? Yes. And I will say this: I'm glad that the mayor, Jim Ferrell, and Federal Way is voicing concern about this, is voicing concern about citizens dying in his city. This is important because we talk about far too often. Sometimes people don't say anything. So that's a good thing. But I mean, we've seen this. We've seen the work that's going on in the county. And the reason why we talk about this regional approach, when Mayor Ferrell is saying that he wants all the police and mayors and everybody to meet, which is a good idea, convene, this regional approach that's been going on, the reason why it's important is they've been tracking the interactions. Public Health Seattle King County has big data, and that big data in this regional approach, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they bring a lot to the table. They'll tell you, oh, this person got shot. You know what I'm saying? They know this person has a 30% chance to most likely get shot or be shooting someone because they witnessed a shooting or was next to a shooting. They got people who go to Harborview and to the different trauma centers. They got people, again, on the street side, the violence interrupters to try to stop people from retaliation and everything else. So, I mean, if there's a gap that's missing here with the mayor of Federal Way and the mayors and police chiefs in South King County, and the efforts that are being made by Public Health Seattle King County, man, I would challenge both sides. Hey, you guys need to figure this out. These are lives on the line, and we don't need to waste time duplicating efforts. We need to see how people can come together and enhance existing efforts.
I agree 100%. And the thing of it is that's really how we're going to sustain any progress. I think one of the things that we have seen far too often in history is the reinvention of the wheel. We see it time and time again, and that just means that it's like you're moving, maybe 3 steps forward, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps back, and ultimately there's an amazing solid effort happening. Exactly what Mayor Ferrell is calling for is already going on. So it's great to be able to have the opportunity to tap in to the fact that you don't have to actually be the one to bring it all together. Just tap into the things that are working and bring your data from Federal Way, bring your expertise into it to make it even better.
Yeah, and no doubt. And like I said, I mean, you can't have it both ways. Somebody like me can't be like, man, politicians need to say something. And then when they say something, be like, oh, I just say this. So, I mean, I'm acknowledging, and this is, these are people's children, family members, sons, daughters, who are dying in our streets. So I'm happy that the mayor of Federal Way, Mayor Ferrell and Mayor Ralph over in Kent, that, man, they're ringing the alarm across the county to say, hey, something has to be done here, because it does. And what I'm saying is like, man, this is great that you're bringing the awareness to it. Now let's link in with the efforts that are already out there and what's going on. This is a ZYD. how many months ago was this?
Yeah.
This
Summer
was in the
almost.
old studio.
Yeah.
This is at least 7 months ago that we got this PSA from ZYD.
Public Health, Seattle, King County, Zero Youth Detention, along with our partners from across the South King County region, are committed to reducing violence and creating the conditions needed for our neighborhoods to be safe and free of crime. Too often, the response to crime and violence has been a piecemeal approach with a program here and a program there. When family units collapse, schools fail to educate, the economy fails to produce jobs, and crime rises, we've looked to law enforcement and punitive measures to save us. Nothing could be more wrong or further from the truth. Law enforcement can't shoulder all the burden or take the rest of us off the hook. We are acknowledging the lived experiences of Black, Brown, and Indigenous communities. We are centering community as the experts who can effectively identify key issues related to systems, policies, and practices that impact children, families, and communities of color across this region. Those most impacted by the issues will help call out and identify the root causes, including structural and systemic factors. 150 residents will partner with King County to develop strategies, solutions, and an action plan that explicitly addresses system changes needed and eliminates barriers to access for Black, Brown, and Indigenous folks. These residents will also identify the criteria used to measure our collective success. Simply put, we need your help as we do the work needed to make King County the safest in this country. It will take specific commitments from all of us, community members, our young people, elders, and leaders from the sectors all across this region. Together, we will get this work done. Please click the link below and sign up for a work group. Or you can recommend a co-facilitator from community for each work group. We look forward to hearing your ideas, concerns, feedback, and solutions as we build a community where all our children can be happy, healthy, hopeful, safe, and thriving.
So that was the ZYD PSA. I mean, this was months and months and months ago, and talking about, you know, creating this regional approach. That's why they wanted feedback from across King County to be able to work together with elected officials, law enforcement, community groups, and organizations, and everything else. So again, I think that this is a great opportunity for Mayor Jim Ferrell, Federal Way, to sit down with Zero Youth Detention and Public Health, Seattle, King County, and I mean, kind of see the different efforts that are going on there. And like I said, I'm not knocking the mayor at all for bringing attention to something that's so important and near and dear to us here at Converge. Just here during this video, Trae's telling us about somebody we know, you know what I'm saying, who's been shot over there on Rainier and MLK when we were down in Belize. You know what I'm saying, the murder over there. So like, man, this is all real to us. And so hopefully Mayor Ferrell and some of the mayors in South King County can connect with Public Health Seattle King County and see what they have going on and work collectively around this issue.
Yeah, I think collective is the best word here, because honestly, the idea is that it can no longer be just a top-down approach. If you're only getting police chiefs and mayors together, you're not incorporating the knowledge from the community. And I think that's one of the things I really appreciate so much about the regional approach and what ZYD is doing. Ultimately, they have people that understand this. And as you said, the big data, man, it speaks volumes. Tap in, plug in, because your expertise is necessary for all the mayors who are not already tapped in. I think it's really important for you guys to look into this effort and figure out how this entire effort can benefit your city.
Yeah, no, it's man, this is real. We're gonna stay on top of it.